feel like we see a lot of videos that talk about habits that dramatically change your life overnight. And that's just never been my reality. I work full-time, I live a normal life, and I get tired. Looking back, I realized some of the small habits that I've built over the years shaped who I am today. There are small, simple habits that quietly make the biggest difference. So today, I want to share the 7 habits that quietly improved my life, and maybe they can quietly improve yours too. Number 1, I stopped trying to change everything at once. For the longest time, I was stuck in this cycle of new week, new me. I would tell myself, this week I will finally wake up early, manage my money better, get my life together, and finally work towards my life goals. And that usually happens right after reading a self-development book. Honestly, it never worked. I was trying to change too much all at once. And when I didn't see progress, I was exhausted, I was demotivated, and I felt like that's just not the woman I'm meant to be. What actually changed things for me was focusing on one habit at a time. Not reinventing myself, just committing to one small thing at a time and letting it build. Once I stopped rushing my growth, things started to stick. Number 2, I protected my mornings. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning to go to the gym. It's not about being extreme or being hyper-productive. It's about having time that belongs to me before the world starts asking things from me. Going that early gives you mental clarity, and honestly, it's proof that I can show up for myself. I also chose a gym that finds me if I'm late or don't show up to a class, and that might sound intense, but it works for me. It removes any and all excuses. This way, I can guarantee I can get my workout done because I can't predict. Maybe I work overtime that day, or traffic is quite bad, or spontaneous plans come up that might derail my plans to go to the gym that day. I also stopped mindlessly scrolling through social media when I wake up. Instead, I use that time to learn because personally, I retain information the best in the mornings. Whether it's about shutter speed or focal length for my new camera, or it could be self-development, things like confidence and leadership skills, anything. I just spend that critical 10-15 minutes as I'm getting ready to really focus and hone in on some new skills that I'm looking to pick up. My mornings stopped feeling reactive, and I feel like I belong to myself before work belonged to me. Number 3, I learned to say no without over-explaining. I used to feel like I had to justify every boundary. Like if I said no, I owe someone a full explanation. Now I keep it simple. No long excuses, no guilt. And what I realized is every time I said no to something that drains me, I'm saying yes to my energy, my goals, and my peace. Number 4 is creating friction for habits that I wanted less of. I make unwanted habits harder so that I don't have to rely on willpower. For example, I keep my phone out of reach at night so that I'm not tempted to scroll on it mindlessly before going to bed. Instead, I wind down by putting a mask on or reading a book. And I skip snacks I don't need by not buying them in the first place. I am a sucker for this because if I see it, I will eat it. I'm guilty of boredom eating. Sometimes I eat just because I'm bored, not because I'm actually hungry. So creating that friction for the habits that I don't want means fewer impulses and less mental energy spent on resisting that impulse to eat what I shouldn't be eating or do something that's wasting my time. Number 5 is checking in with my finances weekly. I am clearly not a finance bro or an accounting guru, and I really dislike calculating numbers. So what I've done is I spend about 10 to 15 minutes every week, which is not that much time, just reviewing my spending and my savings. Nothing complicated. I personally do it in a journal, and you can do it on Excel, or there's like plenty of programs out there for you to do. But breaking it down into these smaller time frames makes it a lot more manageable, and it means that you can kind of keep on top of it before it all snowballs and becomes all too overwhelming. I write out the bills I have to pay and track my spending. Even the small things that you don't realize, like a coffee a day, really adds up. Sometimes my brain tricks me into thinking, oh, I haven't spent that much. Maybe I should splurge and treat myself to something. But then I look at all my little spending and I realize, oh, maybe all this time I have been treating myself. This small weekly check-in gives me control and keeps me on top of my priorities and lets me adjust my spending if I need to. And lastly, I became a woman that I can rely on. This is probably the most important one. I stopped making big promises to myself and started keeping the small ones. Showing up and following through even when no one else is watching, because you are only really accountable for yourself. And that self-trust changes everything. If you say you are going to go to the gym today, then go to the gym today. Not that phrase where, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and you will say, do it tomorrow again. Become the person when you tell yourself you do something that you know you will follow through. And there you have it, my 6 habits. And honestly, these habits did not change my life overnight. But over time, they added up and made me feel more in control, more confident, and more like the person that I want to be. If there's one thing I learned, is back to my point number 1, is that you don't have to do everything all at once. So start small, show up for yourself, and trust that the small things really do make a difference. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.